Any other discussion? Okay, roll call vote.
Mike Duffy.
Aye.
Jeff Hancock.
Aye.
Gary Walden. Aaron Dickens.
Aye.
Mark Hover.
Aye.
Lynn Perdue.
Aye.
Rex Stackhouse.
Aye. Okay, that brings us the first reading of ordinance 3859, creating a non-reverting demolition water utility fund. Whereas the city of Newcastle has enacted ordinance 3858, establishing regulation for the demolition of structures, which requires, among other things, persons demolishing a Class 2 structure, as that term is defined in Indiana Code 22-12-1-5, connected to the city's water utility, to pay a fee of $1,000 to the office of the city building inspector at the time the person obtains permit to demolish the structure, and whereas the ordinance further provides that the fee collected will be utilized by the city to offset the city's cost incurred in capping the water line, servicing the property, and repairing any damage to the right-of-way and performing the work. Whereas a new fund should be created for the purpose of holding and dispersing revenues collected as a result of the enactment of the ordinance. Now therefore be it resolved by the Common Council of the City of Newcastle, Indiana as follows. 1. A new fund entitled Non-Reverting Demolition Water Utility Fund is hereby created. 2. Any fee received pursuant to the ordinance which is paid to the city building inspector at the time the permit to demolish a structure is obtained shall be credited to the fund. Revenues received by the fund shall be classified by the property for which a demolition permit is issued by the building inspector. 3. Upon completion of the work required in paragraph 2 of the ordinance, the revenue allocated to the property for which the permit was issued shall be transferred to the city water utility general operating fund to offset the cost incurred by city personnel in performing the work. 4. The revenue allocated to the property for which a permit was issued shall be refunded to the applicant if the applicant has built a structure on the property that is connected to the city's water utility within the time frame required by paragraph 3 of the ordinance. I move we pass ordinance 3859 on first reading.
I'll second.
Any discussion or questions?
Mr. President, who's going to track these properties? Will it be the building inspector's office or the water department's office?
Building inspector. Any other discussion? Roll call vote.
Mike Duffy.
Aye.
Jeff Hancock.
Aye.
Gary Walden.
Aye.
Aaron Dickens.
Aye.
Mark Hover.
Aye.
Lynn Perdue.
Aye.
Rex Stackhouse.
Aye. Okay, next we have second reading, ordinance 3858, the read that last week, establishing regulation on the demolition of structures. I move we pass 3858 on the second reading.
I'll second that motion.
Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Mike Duffy.
Aye.
Jeff Hancock.
Aye.
Gary Walden.
Aye.
Aaron Dickens.
Aye.
Mark Hover.
Aye.
Lynn Perdue.
Aye.
Rex Stackhouse.
Aye. Okay, we've got one piece of other business. Now, Mr. Walker, if I don't get this quite right, you correct me, okay? But last time we met, Mr. Walker came to us and mentioned the fact that the state has changed some laws and rules on what kind of barricades you can use to block off streets that are going into the state highway. And so therefore, none of our current barricades work for what we need. So he has asked, sent us a quote for some barricades. He would like to have us buy 38-foot double-sided reflective barricades. Those cost $280 a piece, which would be a total of $8,700. Is that correct, Mr. Walker?
They're actually $290 a piece.
$290. Oh, yeah, I scribbled, so my writing was illegible. So $290 a piece, 30 would be $8,700. Now, I'm going to move that we pass this using money from Lowick that's not in the separate account, and I'll just make that a motion. And it'll make, the other thing is gonna make our city look better. The barricades we got have gotten old and rickety, and some of them are almost have a hard time standing up, just a couple of them I've seen, so it's gonna be a good expenditure, I think. Any other discussion or questions? Any roll call vote?
Mike Duffy.
Aye.
Brad Hancock. Gary Rollins. Aaron Dickens.
Aye.
Mark Hovis.
Aye.
Clint Ruth.
Aye.
Rex Steinhoff.
Aye. Okay, now I think Mayor York has a card that came to us from a citizen. He's going to read.
I think there's some employees here from the street department. If you'd stand up, please. We received a thank you from, I'm sure I'm going to butcher his last name, Omer Oxir. Is that how you pronounce it? Oxir? Yeah. And this is to the street department specifically. I would like to express thank you once again for the leadership and help that you have shown on snow removal around the top of our hill, which is a dead end of Red Bud Lane. As always, your department leadership and the crew has proven to be both effective and helpful. Please enjoy lunch on us as a small thank you. So he lives at 515 Red Bud Lane. I think that he's sent you guys a gift card for lunch. I'm not sure what day or when, but you know, we haven't had a long winter this year, but when winter hit, we got hammered. So we do have residents that recognize that and that have noticed it and went out of their way to send a card to you guys. So I want to say thank you to you guys for, I know at least once this year you worked an all-nighter, so we appreciate the job that you did on our streets, and I feel like you did a great job. I've been to a lot last year, and you guys have done an outstanding job, so thank you.
Yeah, guys, the job you guys did with that snow removal and that last week's snow was phenomenal. We had a lot of compliments from people, and really thank you for that. I believe some of you gentlemen would like to say a few words, and right now would be a great time. That way you wouldn't have to stay the whole rest of the meeting if you want to. Everybody's appointed.
I'm the yacky one, so. Can I pull this down?
Yeah.
Sure. My name is Mel Campbell. I do work for the street department, and we would like to personally thank all those who helped us in our new facility. It's been a long haul to get to where we're at. We've got a lot of help. We've not done it by ourselves, and we just like to thank everybody in this room and a lot of people who aren't here today for the support which you've given us. Way back in June, we sat there and watched our building burn, and pretty heartbreaking. It was kind of an old structure, but it was home to us. We've become very comfortable there. But we got a new home now. It's beautiful. We've got some more to-dos. We always have some to-dos to fill, to take care of, but it's come a long way. And we do appreciate all the support from everybody and such. And we've had some community members come to us too and comment about the facility. One thing I'd like just to take a moment to talk about, if I can, is, you know, here a couple months ago, the decision was made to take our trash in Muncie. That created, I think, a lot of stir. I'm one of the maintenance guys, so I help take care of the vehicles, and we've seen a vast improvement as far as maintenance goes, and the tires we've had to repair and change and such like that. So it's been a really kind of, from our perspective, really a blessing to be able to make that trip. We know it's taking things out of the community, and we normally like to keep things in the community, but part of the maintenance standpoint and just overall condition of our vehicles I think it's helped. I think it's a good move personally from where I sit. I work with Gib Latham. Gibby's a great guy. He knows a lot about the vehicles, and we both spent some time chatting about what we used to have to do, and we used to get a lot of nails and tires and things like that, and we had to change a fuel tank out that got damaged, and it's just, I think, going to Muncie, it's just, if any of you ever rode a bicycle down a gravel road, and then you rode it down a paved road, it's kind of that much difference with our trucks and stuff. Would be landfill. And that's nothing derogatory to the Hayes family. I know all of them. I knew Buster, and went to school with Connie, and so great respect for the Hayes family, but it's just a difference between night and day going. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mel.
Thanks, Mel.
Mel.
Okay, that brings us to the video. Oh, no, come on, you ready? Warm you up. Yeah, we'll we'd love to have all of
I
that.
ain't gonna get this. I've been going to Buster's for over 18 years. I've been in the city 18 years. And I've had flat tires. Had to be pulled out, ditches out there. Don't get me wrong, Buster's is a nice place, but I know everybody's worried about the time going to Muncie and back. I go 4 days a week. It mostly takes me another 15 minutes to get there and back. Because the time you go to Buster's, you got to stand in line. One truck gets you up. We go up there, real nice place to dump in. Real nice to us. I think I've got one flat tire and that was it now. I mean, you're going to get that no matter where you go. But we just got our trucks cleaned Friday, and you couldn't believe all the grud and stuff off when we went to Buster's. We basically had mud on the back of our trucks this thick, and we just, we couldn't keep them clean. So I'd like to stay going to Muncie, but that's all you guys say. That's all I got. Thanks.
Thank you.
I'm Jeremy. I'm relatively new to the street department. I came from Buster's for the landfill. Going to Muncie's a lot better. It's cleaner. When you get out of the truck, you're not worried about just running something through your foot or getting an injury of some sort. We're not rushed up there at Muncie. We'll be back in. It doesn't take as much time as we need. And I'm not knocking the landfill, but I mean, it's just a lot better. It's easier on the trucks. It's cleaner. It gives us a chance to open the trucks up, clean them out a little bit. I mean, it's better all the way around. And I'd like to stay going up there. Like Ryan said, it's not our decision, but we do like going up there a lot better. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else who would like to talk about this?
I'd
Appreciate
like to say this, Mr. President, that after 2 months last year, we had approximately $2,000 worth of tire repair in this from January to the end of February. So far this year, we've had $40. So right off the bat, we're saving $1,900 plus just in tire problems that we had. The one tire that Brian did have a screw in it, was able to fix it where at the landfill. Usually if you got to cut a tire down there, there was no saving that tire. You go spend another $600 for another tire on that. So just to give you guys an update, we've not had any damage, and we only had one flat for a total of $40 to get that tire fixed. So it is a tremendous savings on that aspect.
Lee, I appreciate your guys coming here, taking the time out of your day. I think it's very important for us to hear from each one of you on your view on this, because, well, I don't drive dump trucks. I have no idea what it's like, fellas, and it's really important that we do hear from you. Appreciate your honesty, and just keep up the good work. You had a tough month here this last month, and you just did a bang-up job, in my opinion. So, for me, I really appreciate you guys taking time out, coming up here and talking to us. So, thank you.
Yeah, we all certainly appreciate you. You're always welcome to come up and give us your 2 cents. We'd like to hear it. That would bring us to committee reports. So the first one is Mr. Guthrie.
I just got a couple of things that I'd like to throw out. First of all, thank you to the grunt workers. I don't mean that by disrespectful, but you guys are the back, and I appreciate it. I got all kinds of good reviews from people that live in Newcastle that I work with, just went on and on and on about the snowfall, how good it was up here, and I appreciate that. I really do. I know it's pothole season, Lee. Thank you very much for your help that you've already given to me. But I had a call on Brown Road, and it one at 21st and C Avenue, billboard. Is there any way we can get these tires picked up? Another one is 2520 Walnut Street. This was laying in the middle of the road on Walnut Street, and someone's picked it up and thrown it off to the side.
Well, they can't take them to the dump, so I keep saying that's why people need to buy into Three Rivers. Three Rivers has a trailer that they can take them to. I don't know, what's Buster's up to, $6 or $8 a tire?
$6 a tire, and you gotta cut them in half.
Yeah, so I mean, we're not supposed to pick up TVs, computers, tires, or batteries, and that's what Buster's is. I mean, that's what Three Rivers is for. I usually go pick them up and take them out to the trailer. So the TVs I take to Three Rivers. Just get me the addresses and we'll get somebody to pick them up and take them out to the trailer that they have for them. They're all over the place.
Yeah, these have just been, I just seen them myself. So.
With the 21st and what?
21st and C Avenue, right along the tracks. 2520 Walnut Street. And 22nd and I, right there at the billboard.
Okay.
I appreciate it. That's all.
Mr. Wall, or Mr. King?
Got a few things and all that. First of all, I want to echo something. Lee, I appreciate it. For the last few weeks, you had to multitask with trash and snow removal. Did a great job. Please let your crew and all of them know that really appreciate it. I'm speaking for myself, I'm sure I'm speaking for the council too. It's hard to juggle two things, hard enough to just do one. Greg, where are you at? I see a lot of water lines broke and all that. It's sure tough. Wintertime, cold water, out there freezing. Let your crew know that really appreciate all you do and all that. Seems like you never bust on the June or July. It's nice and get wet. It's always January.
Number 16 today.
Number 16. So let them know, really appreciate all they do. Something a little bit different. I had a phone call, a gentleman came visit me on 1401 Woodbrook. The house is empty. They moved to Indy. It's been sitting there for several months. Trees fell over. Jeff, you might be familiar. They called maybe once or twice. I don't know if they have or not. There's
Tree fell. We had the tree cut down, okay? The stumps there, the judge ruled that the stump had, we can't take the stump out.
Has a tree been removed though?
It had been removed.
Okay, so it must be
Yeah.
since they called me.
Yep.
They just said it's sort of
Yeah.
other side, moving in at the entrance. So, all right, they didn't call me back and tell me the tree was moved. You know, they always
That was
call-
last summer.
That was last summer? Maybe I need to go back, maybe there was another
The
tree.
stump was there, but the judge, when we went to court on it, they said the stump was staying.
Okay, all right, they just talked about another tree.
I'll double check and make
Yeah,
sure.
whatever. And something like that, I know we mow yards and we put a lien on the property. Can we do trees or anything like that too, and put a lien on the property?
In all reality, it's up to us to make sure that the roadway is cleared.
Right.
The tree is theirs,
Right.
so the expense on them getting the tree cleaned up
I guess
is
it's
on
going
them.
back to the bank. Some of the neighbors said just entrance in that area.
It
This was
should
tacky.
be for the bank to kind of cut.
Cut and remove.
We've got the grass, Joel, what does it say in the bylaws about trees? I don't know.
We actually added some things in the code last year to cover this situation where you have decrepit trees being a nuisance. So, yeah, if it gets to that, the city has to use its own workforce.
Okay.
And code allows you to place a lien on the property.
Okay, just give me a call. I'll drive by and look at it. They just came by today. I didn't have a chance to look at it and told me that some of the neighbors, it's just an eyesore.
But in all reality, some of those trees are huge. I mean,
I'm sure it is huge.
so usually what we do is called professional tree trimmer.
If I'm not thinking that house, probably the address holds a lot of water in the front yard and side yard and all that. I think it's the property right across from White Estates, right in that corner there. Yeah. But that's all I got.
Mr. Wolf?
I don't have anything else.
Mr. Dickens?
I sent everybody an email about a resolution that was sent to me by a colleague on the county council. You could take a look at that. I'd like to get it on the agenda for next meeting, and I'll have to get it to Joel ahead of time. Just so the wording gets changed, applicable to the city. So just get back with me. That's all I have.
shout out to Aaron for his involvement yesterday with the Henry County Expo Center. He volunteered his time, and I think he had a little fun doing it too, but it was a fundraiser for the Expo Center. You know, that's not, it's not a county project, it's a community project. And it's going to benefit everybody in our county and our community. Just want to give Aaron kudos for representing the city, and you did a great job, and really appreciate it. It's all.
Thanks.
Mr. Purdue?
I have nothing, Your Honor.
I have nothing either. Chief Schofield, would you like to come up and talk about the report you presented us?
Yes. You guys all received the copy of the 2020 annual report. This is our third year of doing this. Kendra, I'm not sure where those sent you the email copy of it, but they'll do it tomorrow. And then I'll give you a copy. 2020. That was a hell of a year, wasn't it? You know, I thought in 2020 I was going to get a chance to be at the full staff and kind of figure the numbers out at the end of the year, whether or not I could come back and ask the mayor for a 35th officer. We're going to have to wait again. I had so much overtime because of COVID, injuries. I've got two guys in the academy that's been trying to go for over the last year. They were supposed to have graduated last April, and so hopefully in a couple of months they're going to get graduated back on the road, and we'll be back to somewhat normal in the police department. But when you review the report, Assistant Chief Warlow put a letter in there to explain why a lot of our numbers are down, and I think it's kind of self-explanatory with COVID, but not to say that we did not have crime. We still are having crime. We still have somewhat of a drug issue. And I promise you, in 2021, you'll see the drug arrests skyrocket at the end of the year. The one thing that was kind of nice this last year is that law enforcement really took a lot of bad publicity because of a few stupid incidents that occurred throughout the nation. And one thing that was really, really nice, and I'm thankful for, was the community here backed us 100%, just like the council and the mayor's office did. But the community, we never heard one bad thing about the Newcastle Police Department and the community at all. Every time our officers are out, people are always saying, thank you for your service, and it's been a great blessing because, let's face it, law enforcement in the last year really got a lot of bad publicity nationally. So, in 2020, we hired 3 more officers to replace officers that either retired or resigned. The only thing that we're really increased over 2020 was just slightly was our gun arrest. But we were seeing a lot of stuff on social media about people having guns, and a lot more guns were related to the drug use or drug sales this last year. We're still working toward finishing up the police department. We don't have a time frame yet, but I'm looking forward to having it completed and having an open house down there once we get it done. Because right now, with the help of the mayor's office and the council, the police department is moving forward as far as updating and getting more modern with the police work. With the numbers being down, in 2019, we had our departmental SOP completely redone and updated. And one of the things I wanted to do is I wanted to add an SOP in there that would not necessarily force officers to do more work, but be more proactive in their work rather than sitting around watching the internet or whatever. So, but with think we had 7 officers with COVID, and then we probably had the same amount of officers that had to go out in quarantine because of family members having COVID. 2020, like I said, we continued the construction of the Newcastle Police Department. We returned the detective division back to full staff by sending one of the road officers back to help the detectives out. We ordered the 10 police cars that you guys obtained financing for, knowing that with COVID that we probably would not receive them and not have them on the road until closer to May or June of this year. We weren't even allowed to order those cars until December, and we couldn't order the Durango until February of this year. So, obviously, the burglaries, the thefts, the shopliftings were all decreased. You'll see that in the numbers. That could be also related to the COVID and people staying home like they were supposed to. And we continue to strengthen our community relations, police and community relations. Our 2021 objectives is on here. We had to hire the 35th officer, but we're probably going to have to wait another couple of years on that because, with officers being off, with COVID, I've got 2 hurt. I haven't had a year where it's been just a solid year where I can look at the numbers to see if we can even afford the 35th officer. We'll continue the construction of the new police department. In case you guys don't know, it's going down on 5th Street. We're next to the water department. We've ordered the armored vehicle, and it's due to be picked up in May. I guess up in Massachusetts, they have a little bit stricter COVID restrictions, so they're not able to put out as many of the Bearcat vehicles as they would like. So it's going to take a little bit before we can get up there and do it. One thing we did decide to do in 2021 is we're increasing our training. Instead of just doing our basic annual training and our firearms instruction, everything that's required by state, we are having each shift perform at least 2 trainings on their own a month to increase the amount of training that we receive. Now, it's not going to be your motor skill training, it's all going to be classroom style training. But each supervisor on each shift is going to be in charge of getting those trainings done on their own shifts. And we've got the 4 license plate readers should be installed here in the next 4 weeks. So I'm looking forward to that. And that's all I've got. If anybody's got any questions.
I do.
Go ahead.
I was, and I'm just curious, I'm looking over your arrest. 2020 was dramatically down from the last 3 or 4 years in arrest and service calls. I'm curious, are criminals more concerned about getting COVID than they are abiding by laws?
Well, criminals were using COVID to get out of the jail a lot more, so they were taking advantage of that situation. We did have a little bit of a period where we were, because we had a COVID outbreak in the jail, where we were working with the courts to try to get people, maybe picking them up on warrants, and it wasn't a violent warrant, so we were like, come in Monday, turn yourself in to court, trying to keep the COVID numbers down. So we went about a month and a half, 2 months, where we were trying to keep. I'll be honest, I didn't want to go in there either, unless I had to. So we had a lot of cases where we either had them come turn themselves in to the court directly, or we filed the charges to be picked up at a later date. As of right now, they're still not having any jury trials, and I think they're still going to do that through June. So the court is really getting backlogged. And at one point, we weren't picking up anybody on the civil warrants for body attachments, for child support, but we're because he's got an overcrowding problem and he's got pending lawsuits over there, so he's trying to keep that number down.
Okay, I got you.
Last time we spoke about body cameras, the expense was in the archiving and the, things that you had to take out or whatever. Is that still, has that changed? Is that getting a little easier to swallow? I mean,
of course, more and more companies are getting into the business there, so the initial price of the cameras have come down, but the evidence storage in the cloud, the redacting software, paying somebody to redact it is still way up there. Unfortunately, the way the state's got it now, if you have an incident where, if I'm just arresting one guy and there's 20 people behind, all 20 of those people's faces have to be redacted. So it takes quite a bit of work.
right. Is that something that, I think you had mentioned before that it's more of a federal regulation type thing, that if they pass legislation is going to make it easier, but probably not at the state level. Is that correct?
Well, I know on the state level, they're trying to pass a law right now about the use of body cameras, whether or not, if they can charge somebody for turning it off on purpose. Now, whether or not that trickles down from the state level so they can mandate, I don't know. It's not going to affect us.
It's not going to help the expense when it comes to that for us.
Right. Yeah, it's a large expense. I can't remember what Hancock County spent up front, but it was a very large expense. And then you've got the annual expense for the storage of the evidence. Right.
Well, I just want to commend Newcastle Police Department's leadership. I know 2020 had heightened tensions, and you and I've had several conversations with Assistant Chief Wardlow, and just really appreciate your willingness to communicate with me on sensitive subjects. And also, it's just really, it's really great to see the relationships building in the community, because I think that's what, it is a strong foundation for you guys. So I appreciate that.
I think our relationship with the community is as strong as it's ever been, especially going back years ago when I first became a police officer.
Chief, just hearing you talk, and this goes for all of our department heads, Chief Boatwright, Josh, Greg. I hope someone's taking good notes, because I think things are going smoothly with what we've been through this year. It's amazing what you guys have been able to accomplish through all this in your departments. We've been able to advance some things for the police department. Chief Boatwright, we've gotten some new fire trucks. Parks are looking great, Mike, for coming along. Josh, your facility's a home run, I think. Every time we go by there on Friday and Saturdays, it seems like the parking lot's full on guessing that you're training. So, as an administration and as a city council, I think we can be proud of what's been done through all this so far. And it's because of the leadership from each of our departments, and really appreciate it, because you guys make us look good. You make Newcastle look good. You're the ones out there beating the streets and cleaning stuff up and helping people out. I don't know how much more we can say, how much we appreciate everything you've done through all this. And like I said, I hope someone's taking good notes, and pray that we don't have to go through something like this very much longer again. So, thanks to all of you.
Yeah, Matt, thanks for presenting this report. I always enjoy getting it and looking through it. It gives me some information, so when somebody in the community says, anymore, I very seldom hear you. I say, our policemen aren't doing anything. I say, well, wait a minute, let me tell you. And I really feel like the professionally, and really across the board in all of our departments, but especially in the police department, I feel like the level of our professionalism has went up each year, and you guys are doing a great job getting the guys trained and getting the guys to put out a great reputation for the community. I mean, it's probably the best, like you said, best it's ever been, I think. And just appreciate you coming tonight, and thank you.
If anybody has any questions, contact me or Assistant
Chief Warlow, and that goes for the community itself too, if they have any questions for us, and the report. Thank you.
And now, we're going to bring Mr. Murphy up. You want a few minutes of our time, maybe more than a few minutes, but you want a little bit of time.
Just a few minutes. Appreciate the opportunity to address the City Council. I either laid at your station or handed you our annual newsletter. This is the newsletter that we put out to our investors, and the City of Newcastle is certainly an investor. The Economic Development Corporation is a 501c6 not-for-profit. We're funded through an investment from the City of Newcastle, Henry County, and businesses and individuals. So this provides a recap of 2020. As I mentioned before, 2020 was our 40th anniversary. We were incorporated in 1980. I was 1 year old. Can't help what I was born. There's an infographic there on the front in terms of grant and loan programs by the numbers that combines the Economic Development Corporation's work and Newcastle Main Street. So both of those efforts of which you invested in, along with the county, along with federal grants, along with some private contributions. That's a total impact of over $500,000. If you haven't checked out Fortune Path, that is a regional talent retention and attraction effort. 4gci.com. Would highly encourage you to become familiar with that. And then our shell building, we're planning the groundbreaking, which you will receive an invitation. Because of my Irish heritage, it's going to be on March 17th at noon. And there'll be a box lunch there for you to take away. Somebody suggested green beer, but I said I have standards and I don't put food coloring in my beer, so there won't be any beer. But we'll get you in and out in less than an hour unless you want to stand around and talk. That's on you. March 17th at noon. Hopefully the weather cooperates, but you will receive an invitation. I'll leave the rest of the newsletter for your reading pleasure. I'll switch gears for just a moment and talk about tourism. I was here earlier this year, gave a fairly lengthy update on economic development, tourism, and the airport. We just closed the tourism survey. I know many of you shared it on social media. We also put a display ad in the newspaper, both the Courier Times and the Middletown News, and there were a couple of newspaper articles about the tourism survey. I'm pleased to report that we had over 400 responses. The community giving us input. So our team is going to take that input and help craft the tourism brand. The reason why the input is important is because it needs to be authentic. We're not going to please everybody. You never can. But it needs to be based on, it needs to be an authentic brand. And once we establish that, then all the fun stuff happens. Logo creation, tourism website, brochure, so on and so forth. There was an article in the paper, maybe it was the weekend edition, and it talked about a community calendar. So from the proceeds of the sale of the Yellow House out on Road 3, aka the CBB Visitor Center, the CBB board in our merger transitioned to a Tourism Advisory Committee, or TAC. Everybody needs an acronym. So they're the TAC. And they help me manage and provide oversight to how those proceeds are used. And the purpose of the proceeds, the sale of the house, we sold it for $150,000. Net transaction expenses, we deposited $138,450. Maybe $495. You get the point. $138,000. As for marketing infrastructure, so things that we wouldn't be able to afford under the normal tourism innkeeper's tax revenue. So one of the things that the TAC approved, and there was an article in the newspaper this past weekend, was we're going to launch manage who has access to post an event. That's the doorkeeping or security function. So for example, sorry Kendra wants to post an event, Kendra will request. And once we request Kendra to post an event, then she can post any event she wants. It doesn't come back to our office for approval. And so that's what I mean by plug and play. With the widget, and the widget is code for a website. It can go on the city website, it can go on the county's website, it can go on the EDC website, it can go on anybody's website, whoever wants to host it. They don't have any management responsibilities of that other than allowing that website code on there. And so, I've been here a few years, and the access to a community calendar has come up often. And I understand in previous community conversations, community calendar is important. So we're going to launch that in May or June, and we'll do a lot of promotion of that, both to the consumer and to the business community, and certainly city government can use it for their meetings as well. I've talked to you all. Questions?
Appreciate all you do.
Thank you for your support.
Thanks, Corey.
Was that no beer or no green beer? Just taking notes.
I plead the fifth.
Okay.
Okay, Your Honor, you are ready for your department heads.
Bodie, you got anything? No, sir. Josh? Yeah? Mike? Lee?
I'd just like to thank the Drainage Department. We have 3 of their employees that worked alongside ours to help with the snow removal, and they did an outstanding job also.
Greg, you got anything? Well, you guys did an outstanding job on some water main breaks in the middle of this cold weather, so we appreciate that also. I just want to say, along with the rest of the council, everybody's commenting to you guys tonight, all of our departments have done an outstanding job this year, all of our departments. I think we should do something to recognize one a month or something. It's been a tough year, but you guys have made it look easy and worked hard. There's been a lot of buy-in with the employees, and that helps make it easy for all of us. So we appreciate all the department heads and everything that you do for the community. And we can't say thank you enough, but we all do see it, we all do appreciate it. So thanks, Eric.
I would like to just thank my guys. They make me look really good. 3 of the main breaks they repaired this year was under 17 degrees when they were out in that water bill.
Yeah.
Fantastic job on that. Great.
And they're standing in that water knee deep to waist deep at some point in time.
Actually, that's the one spot, because the water comes out of the ground at 46 degrees.
You know what they say, the dry side to everything. So
But you got to get out of the water eventually.
they got you out a hole sooner or later is the problem. Yeah. So I appreciate that. I've said already once or twice this year, but we put 2020 behind us. I want us to look at 2021 being the comeback year of the community. We've got new restaurants getting ready to open up on Road 3. From my numbers, I think we're going to have somewhere in between 90 to 110 new homes or new condos in Newcastle and Henry County. 10 of those are already under roof. 5 of them have already been sold. We finally are getting to the point that, and 911's calling. We finally get to the point that we've got more jobs than we have people to work them, and we're at the spot that we need housing. And we don't have enough housing. When we have people move into these new houses, it's going to sell the ranch on behind Riley School. So I just want you to expect it. It's not going to be a surprise. It's not going to be a hidden secret. But 2021 is going to be a breakout year for us when we can get back into public and public events. Don't be surprised, because this is going to be a huge year for Newcastle and for Henry County. So it's exciting for me what I see that's already been signed and what's already in place. It's coming. So you can either get on the bandwagon and let's go, or just be a doubting it's coming. That's all I have.
Okay, if you have any citizens who would like to come up and present before the council? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.